The Frist Humanitarian Award is the highest honor that any employee or volunteer can receive in our company. And the awards are named after a physician by the name of Tommy Frist, Sr. And he had a phrase. The phrase was, good people beget good people. And I think as you learn a little bit more about Ryan and Lisa today, you'll understand that they really, within their inner core, they have the attributes of good people beget good people. Can I tell you, every year what we do is we ask the employees in the hospital and the volunteers in the hospital to nominate somebody to be a Frist humanitarian. And usually we get about 10 nominees from both groups, and then we send the nomination forms to the past recipients at the hospital, and they're actually the ones who determine who the winner should be. So it's not that, you know, these come to administration and I go through and it's a popularity contest. It's truly people who have those same virtues instilled in them are the ones who determine who the winners are. But that being said, I got to tell you, it is so difficult to get people to nominate employees and volunteers. And I think the reason is because we know about these individuals at work. But it's so much more than what they do at work that determines whether or not they're going to be the winner. So often the things that we see at work, the attributes such as, you know, that they're a caring individual, they have a big heart. There's so much more to what they do on the outside, and it may be that they're involved in their church or some community activities, but the same attributes that we see at work are often done elsewhere, and they're very modest. They don't tell anybody about these things they do. So often it comes to somebody who's a friend, not only at work, but also outside of work, that is able to tell us about the things that they've done. So this year we have two great nominees, or two awardees. I would like to point out, there are some past recipients here, both from volunteers and the employees, and if they could just stand and be recognized, would appreciate that. Let me tell you something a little bit about HCA and what a big heart it has. As I said, this is the highest honor that any employee and volunteer in the company can receive. But there's also a contest that goes on at the same time. And so each hospital nominates an employee to be the Frist humanitarian, and each hospital nominates a volunteer to be the Frist humanitarian. And then what happens is all of those names and the nomination packets get sent up to our corporate office in Nashville, and then they determine and select one employee of the year and one volunteer of the year. And while they haven't announced who those are going to be yet for 2007, I was honored, or privileged I should say, to have worked at a hospital where we actually, our employee became the Frist Humanitarian of the Year, and actually we flew out to Nashville where she was honored. And the really neat thing is, you know, we're in healthcare, and healthcare is about taking care of people, but there's some very wealthy people in our corporation who actually head it. And when I got to go to Nashville with my wife and then our employee and her husband, you know, we got to go out to dinner at their country club. They toured us around the city. You know, it was like having dinner with the President of the United States. But they were just like you and me. And I think that really says a lot about the company that we work for. These are just individuals with very big hearts. And so it is a great honor today to tell you a little bit about our honorees. And what's funny is every year I get up here and I do this little shtick, and I thought, you know what, we got this brand new room. Actually, you're the first group since we have all this audio-visual equipment. And I said, we got these great TV screens. Wouldn't it be great if we had a video presentation? And so I got to tell you, Margaret Hoffman, who works in our HR department, I think I threw this out to her about a week ago, and she said, yeah, we'll do it. And she helped us put this together, and I think you're going to be very impressed. So the first little vignette is just a little bit about the Frist Humanitarian Awards and some of the criteria in terms of how we select the individuals. So I'm going to start with that. And you know, if you like, go ahead and start your salad during this part.
Frist Humanitarian Award was created in 1971 to honor outstanding individuals for their humanitarian and volunteer activities. Named in honor of Dr. Thomas Frist Sr., this award recognizes individual standards of quality and personal commitment. In 1968, Dr. Thomas Frist Sr., Jack C. Massey, and Dr. Thomas Frist Jr. formed their own hospital management company, which is known today as the Hospital Corporation of America. HCA's primary purpose was, and still is, rooted in compassion, care, and community. Throughout his life, Dr. Frist embraced the worth of the human spirit and the duty of each of us to work diligently to improve ourselves and with those whom we come into contact. He remained true to his beliefs about the value of kindness and happiness, about thankfulness and giving, about integrity and living a life of gentle morality. 2 Frist Humanitarian Awards are given each year. One recognizes an HCA employee who goes beyond day-to-day responsibilities in their overall service to the community. The other recognizes an HCA volunteer who gives unselfishly in their service to patients within our facilities. Since 1973, the Frist Award has honored Los Robles Hospital employees and Los Robles volunteers who have risen above the call of duty to display outstanding character and concern for the people around them. Today, we are honored to acknowledge the 2 recipients of this year's Frist Humanitarian Awards for their outstanding service, their selfless natures, their joy in helping others, and for carrying on the legacy set forth by Dr. Thomas Frist Sr. so many years ago.
So we have to thank Margaret with 1 week's notice, put that together. Margaret, thank you. All right, it's time to honor our first honoree, who's Lisa Messner from the firm.